Hello and thank you for joining us on this Friday ahead of a great weekend. Let's take a look at our headlines for the day. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signs a new executive order banning certain words that she deems anti-woman. More on this in 2 minutes. Plus a third round of voting in the race for House Speaker. We'll have more from Capitol Hill with the latest from the House floor. And today marks the last weekend for the Arkansas State Fair. Later, see why officials are calling this year a record-breaking one. But first, of course, we have to have a look at weather. Nathan, I can't say it enough. It is Friday.
It is Friday, yes.
Friday. And we are happy about it.
Good afternoon to you, Jurnee. We have a beautiful blue October sky out there. We start this morning with temperatures into the 40s and 50s, but we've heated things up very quickly. We're already at 82 in the capital city. It's 81 in Arkadelphia, 75 in Clinton, 79 in Stuttgart. We've got a pretty good breeze coming in from the northwest, about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Typically, that's a cooler wind, but the ground is so dry, it's just soaking up that sun's energy. And up we go with the temperatures. Highs today, 86, 87 degrees can be expected here in central Arkansas. It's going to be even warmer than that on Saturday. We could challenge maybe a record high for the first half of the weekend. There is a weak front that does arrive here through the weekend and will knock the numbers down somewhat on Sunday. More on that weekend forecast coming up.
All right, Nathan, thank you. Well, new at noon, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signs a new executive order eliminating what she refers to as anti-woman words from state government. The executive order will ban a number of terms like pregnant people, laboring person, birth giver, and more. The governor says this is meant to provide a distinction between the role of a man and a woman.
Today, we're taking a stand against woke nonsense. It's the left that decided that woman is a dirty word. It's the left that decided we needed to toss out basic biology and basic grammar along with it. I think they're just mad that conservatives are starting to fight back. And they better get ready because we're just getting started.
Well, on the other side of the argument, President of the Young Democrats of Arkansas, Allison Grigsby Sweatman, says this order is not what the governor should be focusing on.
Arkansans deserve a governor who focuses on issues that matter and that actually affect our lives, and who doesn't use executive orders to fight culture wars over problems that don't really exist, things that haven't even been defined, words like wokeness. Those are not real problems.
Well, the executive order comes exactly a week after state legislators approved an audit into the purchase of a $19,000 lectern for the governor. Lawmakers say they hope to have a final report by the end of the year. This weekend, the city of Little Rock honors its longest serving city manager, Bruce Moore. He passed earlier this month. Along with leaving behind a lasting legacy, Moore also leaves behind a vacancy on the board of directors. Mayor Frank Scott Jr. says the city's assistant manager, Emily Cox, will fill the role until further notice. A celebration of Moore's life takes place tomorrow morning at the Robinson Center. Now, for more information, you can visit thv11.com right now. House Republicans try again to break the deadlock over electing a new Speaker of the House. Congress remains on hold, unable to assist with President Biden's request to provide aid to Israel and Ukraine. This morning, House Republicans held a third vote to elect a Speaker, with Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan losing for a third time. Jordan making it clear he's not dropping out of the race.
We need to help Israel. We need to get the appropriations process moving so that the key elements of our government are funded and funded in the right way, particularly our military.
Now, Jordan held a closed-door meeting with GOP members, many of which still oppose his candidacy.
This guy refuses to lose, and that's okay. I find that to be very good, but there's some point that we're going to have to move forward, and we can't keep the country shut down.
Speaking to reporters ahead of the latest vote, Jordan said his plan for the weekend is to get a speaker elected to the House of Representatives as soon as possible. A North Little Rock man has been sentenced to life without parole for killing a teen over 5 years ago. 22-year-old Warren Goodrum has been convicted of capital murder and abuse of a corpse. He shot and killed an 18-year-old, then proceeded to continue shooting the victim, leaving his body near the cottages on MacArthur Drive in North Little Rock. Goodrum's father turned him in after his son showed up at his house in bloody clothes and confessed that he killed someone. President Biden is set to ask Congress today for roughly $100 billion in emergency spending over the next year, including around $14 billion in assistance for Israel. The president's speech comes as Israel prepares for a ground assault in Hamas-controlled Gaza. Ian Lee reports from Tel Aviv.
From the air and on the ground, Israeli forces could be seen along the border with Gaza Friday. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant says Israel does not plan to control life in Gaza once it destroys Hamas, and there's no longer a threat. The Hamas-controlled Palestinian territory has been devastated by Israeli airstrikes since the group brutally killed more than 1,000 Israeli civilians nearly 2 weeks ago and took more than 200 people hostage, including this mother and her young children.
I try not to think about the worst. This is the only thing that keeps me going.
In a speech last night, President Biden made the case for his $105 billion funding request to Congress, which would include support for Israel and Ukraine.
It's a smart investment that's going to pay dividends for American security for generations.
The Pentagon is also preparing to send 2 Iron Dome missile defense systems to Israel in the next few days to prevent more rockets from reaching targets here in Tel Aviv and elsewhere as concerns mount the violence will escalate into a wider conflict. In the West Bank, residents of a refugee camp surveyed the damage following a deadly battle Thursday involving Israeli troops.
I'm angry, but what we can do, Yani. So we just can pray for them to be safe.
And Israel ordered the evacuation of one of the biggest towns on its northern border with Lebanon after a rocket attack from Hezbollah injured several people. Ian Lee, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Well, overnight, an American naval ship, the USS Carney, intercepted missiles fired from Yemen, possibly headed for Israel, according to the Navy. The MTV Europe Music Awards have been canceled due to the Israel-Hamas war. The event was scheduled for Paris on November 5th. A company spokesperson said it is a moment of mourning and that the decision was made out of an abundance of caution for thousands traveling from around the world. MTV said the EMAs would return in November 2024. The 83rd Annual Arkansas State Fair continues through this weekend. Fair officials tell us 2023 numbers are set to rise to the top, surpassing the previous record of over 500,000 people set in 2021. Now, Director of Sales and Promotions Will Hornberg says their attendance goal is around 20,000 ahead of the pace from 2021. He credits much of the increased attendance to the newly enforced curfew.
We just put it in because the last couple of years it's been a little bit out of hand, and it's happening countrywide. It's just not here. There are a lot of other fairs that are doing it, but it's been great for us. I think that's part of the reason we have a bump in attendance. We're seeing a lot more families out here in the evening, so it's been real good for us.
Well, the fair instituted a youth curfew this year where after 6 p.m., anybody under the age of 18 must be accompanied by an adult 21 or older. On top of it, positively impacting attendance, Hornberg says fairgoers have accepted the change. It's also led to less safety concerns, and as more people come to the fairgrounds, that actually means more money pouring into local attractions. New developments are underway in Hot Springs, improvements coming to parking areas in Bathhouse Road to increase safety and update the area. Changes include more parking spaces downtown, as well as new parking meters that allows you to pay through an app. It's something the deputy city manager says will be more convenient for locals and visitors.
And one of the things that we want to ensure is that we maintain everything that we have. And whenever you have such a vibrant and active downtown, there has to be that reinvestment, and that's something that we're very mindful of.
Crews are removing 5 magnolia trees that have been damaged from traffic accidents, disease, and insect infestations, replacing them with new ones. Spicer expects to see the parking improvements in mid-2024. Well, what is it like to have your business go viral? Social media can make or break a business. Coming up, more on the good and the bad of instant success.
It's a beautiful fall Friday all around central Arkansas. Our View 11 shows not a cloud in the sky, although it is unseasonably warm, and these temperatures will stay on the warm side over the next several days. I'll have more on that forecast and let you know if we have a good chance of rain over the next week coming up.